This episode of the Fiction Writers Podcast is brought to you by How to Write a Novel That Sells. Do you dream of writing a best-selling fiction novel? With the right tools, you could get there sooner than you think. Visit www.howtowriteanovelthatsells.com and unlock the secrets to writing compelling fiction taught by international best-selling author Lana McAra. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where you will discover tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Here you'll find new energy, new perspectives, new resources, and new ideas that will spark your creativity into a blaze of brilliance. It's easier than you think. Be sure you visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, get out your notebook, tune in, and let's get started.
We all dream about being in demand and having those phone calls, with contracts behind them, speaking engagements behind them, and all that stuff. But here's the number one problem that I'm finding as I'm talking with authors, especially new authors, and that's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Lana McAra. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast. Tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. I just went to a massive book festival, 200 author tables. I tried to get a table. They were already sold out. So they actually did have 200 people there behind a table with books. And since I didn't get a table, I walked around and I was collecting cards and networking. Usually I go to those book fairs for networking purposes. There really aren't a lot of readers there. So your attitude going into a place like that with a ton of other authors is to network. There will be people there who might be able to host you on their podcast. There will be people there who know about other festivals and people there with all kinds of different collaborations and potentials. So don't sit wondering where the readers are. Get out there and start talking to the writers. We've got a lot of resources, all of us do. And so I went around collecting cards, bookmarks, flyers, whatever they had, literature. And I was also talking to everyone, and handing out my cards. So I got back home, and this event had a magazine that was a bio and picture of every single author that was at the event, the book tables. And so I had the magazine. I had all my cards. My purse was loaded. I was loaded down with stuff. And so I spent the next 2 afternoons, probably around 8 hours, going through everything. I went through all the cards. I went through the magazine. And I'm sending out emails to people that I thought were appropriate for a connection and inviting them to be on this podcast as a guest or inviting them to connect, in a phone call and whatever I thought would be appropriate. And, as I was looking through the magazine, 200 authors, there were only about 4 authors who had put a link in their bio, their website. Only 4. And there was no emails, no email addresses anywhere in the magazine. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. How are people going to find you if you don't have your email listed? If you don't want to give out your personal email, get another email for business. You have to let people contact you. If they want to find you, I have an opportunity. I'm looking for people to be a guest on my podcast. I had opportunities for them, and they had no way to reach them. So, being me, I'm very like a dog with a bone. Let's put it that way. Went through all the cards. More than half of the cards had no contact information, no website, no email, no phone number, nothing. Just the title of the book, the cover of the book, a little bit about it. That was it. No way to reach the author at all. Wow. So then I went to Google and I started looking up these authors thinking they must have a website somewhere, something. And I was coming up empty. Even social media was coming up empty. What? So here I am spending 8 hours doing nothing but this research and sending out emails. And I couldn't believe it. So my question for you today is, how hard is it to find you? If you type in Lana McAra into Google, you're probably going to get about 3 pages that are actually me. All my social media sites, all my website, and on. Interviews I've done, YouTube channel. I do about 4 interviews a month. 4 interviews a month, about 1 a week. Unbelievable. How much would you find if you typed your name in to Google? If you are a serious author, or you want to be a serious author, you don't even have to be yet. You don't even have to have your first book out yet. Build your platform. This is what's called platform. If you hear agents and publishers talking about platform, that's what this is. It's where you show up, like being on stage on a platform. Where are you showing up? Are you even active on social media? What are you putting up there? Are you putting up things that will build your brand as a writer? What are you going to write? If you know that, then start talking about those topics, getting it into groups on social media that have to do with those topics. Get to know some people. Get yourself out there, because if you're going to write about it, you know some stuff, don't you? Look at podcasts that there's a find a guest, hashtag find a guest, and hashtag be a guest. I think be a guest would be the one you want. You want to be a guest. Just put that into Facebook. You'll find all these podcasts looking for guests. And I don't just talk about writing cozy mysteries. That's what I write. I talk about a lot of different things in my life. I talk about starting over after the age of 50. I talk about how to be a writer. I talk about things in my past on childhood trauma and overcoming childhood trauma. I talk about healing. There's so many things. And that's just my life. So when I talk about my life, then they end up the interview by saying, well, how can we get more? And then you have a chance to say, oh, I have a book, or I'm writing a book, or something like that, to get your message out. You don't have to always talk about the same topic that is in the book. Just get out there. Get out there. And as the book comes out, then you want to zero in on your topic, such as my stalker story. You know, I had a stalker. I was on a podcast about 4 or 5 months ago where I told my stalker story. And I said, oh, yeah, the Englewood Medium, Shaken But Not Stirred. It's fiction, but it parallels my stalker story. So go over there to Amazon and get it, or Barnes & Noble, or wherever you want. How hard is it to find you? Do you have cards with your phone number and your email and your website on it? Your card should also have your photograph, your image, because when people look at it, they need to see your face so they can remember you. It's just a simple card. It doesn't take much. $35, you get 250 of those cards at Staples. You can order them online and have them sent to your house. It's not hard. Find a way to get a website. Wix.com and the other places are plug and play. You just go in, get an account, and fill in your information. You got a website. If nothing else, get your child or your grandchild to help you with it. They'll do it. It's not that hard. but you have to be available. People have to get in touch with you. This is rule number 1 for success as an author. I hope that helped you today. My name is Lana McAra. See you next time.
Thank you for tuning into the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where we share tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Remember to visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Fiction Writers Podcast.